What's up, guys? It is Rick again, and we are going to have fun today. So we are in 2023, which I'm really excited about. It. I think this is going to be a wonderful opportunity in wholesaling. And if you guys didn't catch our live yesterday, you got to go check it out. It was all about AI and wholesaling. Me and Zach have actually been working a few months and playing around with it. And if you have time and you want to check this topic out, check out the live yesterday on Flip with Rick on the YouTube channel. Absolutely amazing stuff. And we actually used real-time examples and it was really cool. But today we're talking all about direct mail and how to scale it up to 100K a month. I have pretty much mastered this. Full disclosure, I didn't do it overnight. I took a much longer time than most people, but I'm going to show you step by step how to use direct mail if you've never really used it before, the uniqueness of why you want to consider using this strategy once you get established in wholesaling, and most importantly, how to stack the bills up to earn 100K a month just in the direct mail section alone. But before I do it, do me a favor, make sure you use the comment sections. You introduce yourself, let me know what market you're in. And guys, I'm gonna open your eyes today. If you haven't used direct mail before, you are missing out. So as usual, put in the comments there if you want to go on one-on-ones. I missed some of you guys yesterday, so I take everybody in order they're coming on, so I will jump on that. But you guys know what to do. We are all about wholesaling. I like to have fun doing this. I have ADHD, and I believe the subject can be boring. For the most part, most people teach it are extremely boring, and I got to wake you up and liven you guys and have fun with it. So the really cool thing about wholesaling is you can adapt it to your lifestyle. So if you think I'm just loud and obnoxious, that's fine. But if you're like me, you're probably a really good fit for wholesaling. By the way, anybody guys tells you, oh, direct mail is a scam and it's ridiculous, it means they don't understand it. So when direct mail doesn't work, it means you never really did it. It means you made one shot at it and you quit. Now, you all know that me and Zach are a big proponent of not starting out with direct mail. Why? Because honestly, most of you guys are on a limited budget, and I understand that. So I want you to get some deals under your belt, and then once you can get at least 5 deals, guys, at minimum 5, but I prefer you have 10. You need to seriously explore direct mail because you're missing out on a easy lead stream that kind of is automated. And honestly, if you are a single operator and you have some cash to work on this, you really need to pay attention to today's live because this is all about you. Imagine if you could make 100 grand a month solely by doing direct mail. I do other methods too, but I'm just telling you, direct mail easily fulfills this within my business, and I'm going to show you how. So the first thing you got to understand with the direct mail, there's something that happens before direct mail, and if you get this part wrong, no matter what you do in direct mail, it's not going to work. So number one, you have to understand, you have to become a list ninja. And I don't use this word lightly, is if you will spend more time playing with lists, playing with the filters, and figuring it out and finding out, try to get that perfect list, you will do so much better. Quality trumps quantity any time of the day. And if you were like me when you started out and you were on a limited budget, your list is as important, if not more important than the actual direct mail itself. Because if you got a crappy list, no matter what you send, you can send $100 bills in the mail, people are not going to respond to it. So first and foremost, just like we teach you over at freewholesaling.com, you've got to understand lists. The better you get lists, the more time you play with them, the better you'll be at it. I have met so many people that go, oh, I did direct mail. The first thing I always ask them if they're struggling direct mail, show me your list. And that usually answers the question right there. If you not put a lot of thought, a lot of energy into this, and they go, Rick, how do I do that? Go over to freewholesaling.com. We teach you how to do it in detail, but list is everything. Quality trumps quantity any day of the week. When I first started out, if I only had $1,000 or 500, which was often, I would make that list perfect. Sometimes I would spend way too much time on the list. But I come from the school of thought is you can't learn enough about lists, because once you identify a trend on your list, you can capitalize it and push all your chips in with direct mail. You can do it with cold calling. You can do it with SMS. It doesn't matter. But I'm here to tell you, your lists are absolutely everything. So number one, make sure you're getting quality lists. How? Government lists are probably the ones that you want to attack because it should have the highest motivation. You're in a market that's going backwards, and we need to find the most motivated people. Number two, the driving for dollars. That is a list. You can attack it with direct mail too. It's not a bad approach. Driving for dollars and government lists will give you the most targeted ninja list, in my opinion. So once you understand the list, you can move forward with direct mail. If you do not understand lists, do not even attempt direct mail because you're going to fail miserably. It's so important you understand the list. So because me and Zach teach you guys how to pull government lists, how to do the driving for dollars, how to do the reverse driving for dollars. Once you understand that and you get your list dialed in, as time progresses, you'll talk to more people. When you get to the point where you want to add direct mail, it's perfect because you've already figured out the list. Most people fail in direct mail because they don't understand lists. So become a list ninja. Do not take this lightly. You cannot spend enough time cultivating your list. I'm in this business. I'm going on 21 years. I am a geek in this stuff. I love the right list. And it is all trial and error, but I have more wins than I have losses. And if you can stack up the wins, you do amazing, guys. Do not leave out the list. So going forward, if you're going to get in direct mail, you have to know your budget. You can't guess on this, guys. So it's real simple. I am a high advocate for postcards. They're simple, they're to the point, and they're the cheapest way to do it. I know letters are more effective, but they're almost twice the cost. And most of you guys put way too much stuff on letters. So when it comes to probates, I'm all about letters. They're very small lists, and I'm a huge advocate for that. Outside of that, no. Unless you're going to do commercial properties or much more advanced multifamily, postcards are just fine for single family. Why? Because I've tested this out over 20 years, and I'm here to tell you, you will do very well with postcard. End of story. So if I have to do a budget, you got to understand on average, it's going to cost you roughly 50 cents a postcard. So just do your math. Figure out what you can afford. You can figure out the number of prospects, and you can easily go to the next step, which I'm going to show you here. But I tell you guys, if you do not know what your marketing budget is, you cannot do direct mail. You cannot guess on your budget. And when you set a budget, you need to set it and plan it out for 12 months, and you have to give direct mail 1 quarter. In 1 quarter, direct mail should easily pay for itself. What is a quarter? 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. After 3 months, I want you to look at a marketing schedule. After 3 months, direct mail should pay for itself. You're going to have to plan for 3 months of your own money to fund your direct mail campaign. A lot of people understand. So a lot of times we go January all the way through December. So if you planned on starting out, go listen, the first quarter, I'm going to spend $1,500 a month. So that's fine. So that's $1,500. What is that? $4,500. You need to have $4,500 set aside. That's how it works. That's why I want you guys to go out and get some deals under your belt and set some of that money aside for future marketing endeavors just like this. But so many people go, well, if I do $1,500 a month, 1,500 times, what's it? Times 12. What is that? That's like 18. What is it? 18 grand? Somebody do the math on it for me. I should have done this ahead of time, but I didn't. 1,500 times 12. That's 18 grand. A lot of you will look at the 18 grand and go, oh my God, I can't do this. No. Look at the first 3 months. After 3 months, you should be able to close a deal from your direct mail campaign and be able to fund the next 9 months. Most wholesalers can't get past these numbers. They don't do a schedule. They don't know what their budget is, and they're terrible at creating a list. So guys, I'm giving you information in order so you can understand how this works. Bear with me, I'm moving on. Now, once you do that, the next step is you have to choose a marketing medium. So we already know you're going to do postcards, right? So if you know you're going to do postcards, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. You've got to have the best one that you think's going to get the highest rate of return calls. So number one, always pick something that does not have trade bait on it. Anytime someone says a final notice or urgent notice or call me, we have a gift waiting for you, it is a recipe for disaster in wholesaling, and you're going to have problems from state agencies, from the federal government, and you're going to have a lot of people hating you when they call you. I did not get in this business to be screamed at. I get screamed at enough. Please make sure you find a unique piece of mail, specifically a postcard, that does not have a ridiculous gimmick on it. Final notices do not work, and honestly, the FTC is going to come down on you and you're going to create problems. You have to understand direct mail is still one of the, why it's so advantageous is number one, you can scale it, and number two, it's legal. So don't do something like crazy. I'm not all about reinventing the wheel, but I did learn over time is if you use what every other mail house does, all the other investors are using it, and this is where you can really get run over in saturation. So how do we prevent this? Guys, if you want to learn more on how to do this, where is it? I'm going to show you right here. So first thing is, I want everyone to start out at freewholesaling.com. End of story. If you don't have a budget for this, go out, get some deals on your belt, and then make this as part of your future projects. But if you're already at this stage, maybe you close your first 100 grand, you go, Rick, dude, you got to show me how this works. This is the perfect video for you. So the next step you want to do, where is it? I'm going to put it up here. I know I got the link somewhere. Actually, so you got to go to freewholesalingfirst.com. If you want to get details on really deep diving on how to do direct mail and how to duplicate my system, I actually give this stuff away for free. I know I could sell it for a ton of money, but you know what my mission is here. So go over to mailingmastery.com and I'm giving you kind of the bullet points to get you excited about doing this because it really works well. So a unique piece of mail. Here's a really cool part. Go over to Mailing Mastery. I go into detail on how to leverage this. We have created a postcard that I tested out for over a year and a half. And I sat down and got so frustrated with not getting deals from direct mail. And then I looked at what are the two biggest responses. So I went through 3 years of data. And number one was take me off your list. And number two is what is your offer? So I helped engineer. I didn't do it all by myself, but we call the ROS postcard. And that stands for Rapid Offer System. If you go over to Mailing Master, we show you how to do it. I give it away for free, guys. I have a vendor, a very highly reputable vendor, the best in the business. I share it all in mailingmastery.com. Honestly, guys, I'm not a printer. I used to print stuff. I'm telling you, don't print stuff yourself. So they have this one, and what it does is it has an offer, and it's built in automatically. It has an API where it comes up with value, so you don't have to use your brain, and you just adjust how much you want to offer on it. And we show you how to do it in detail. And if you want to talk to a customer service rep, they'll show you how to do it. My goal is here is to educate you, to stimulate you, and get you started if you want to take the direct mail journey. This is not required. It's just for people that are already closing deals and they want to get into direct mail because it's consistent. So the unique piece is it has an offer on it. Well, Rick, why would you want to put the offer on it? I'm supposed to hide that offer. My data says sellers are sick of being played. And so if you go ahead and throw the white elephant out in the room, it intrigues them to call you. They will call you even to tell you have the price wrong, or how'd you come up with that price, or I love that price. The name of the game in direct mail is to make sure they call you. If they don't call you, you're done. So my mail piece is the perfect amount. I spent over $60,000 just in postage to prove my point. The first one I did, I bombed massively because I offered way too much. No, actually the first one I offered way too little and only got a few phone calls, and I go, oh, because I was scared everyone was going to want retail. Then my next mailing is offered way too much and everybody called, and I was in realtor land and it was miserable. And then what we did is we found the perfect formula of what percentage to offer that makes people call you that don't want to deal with a realtor, and understand if you have the right list, remember, you're going to find problem properties. So if you have the right list, the ROS postcard is the perfect way to create intrigue. And here's the really cool part. The only people that really get a leg up on this are people that go through me, because I'm the only person that takes the time to train this. I've trained my mail house, and my mail house actually does customer service on this, and we constantly improve the product. Why? Because this is the sole product I use in my business, and I'm literally sharing with you step by step on how I do it. Go over to mailingmastery.com. I go into grave detail. I can't do the whole thing in there. So once you pick that unique mail piece, by the way, I used to use the Google image before. I used it for 3 years. It got out of control. People thought I was flying drones over their house. It got kind of funny, but it was unique. But then everybody used it and the uniqueness lost it. I've created the ROS postcard where it's like a backdoor entry. You have to go through me and you have to go through training on it. And I do it all for free. And the idea is you have to be consistent with it. And those that want to take the time and understand it, they all do well. It's not like one or two people do well. I have hundreds of people that use this. Go, well, Rick, a lot. No, 100 people all over the country is not a lot of people. And most likely this technique's not being used in your market. You're going to be blown away by how many people call you. But you have to understand, you have to play with it a little bit. You're going to have to adjust numbers. What works in my market is probably going to be different in your market. So we create the ability for you to adjust the offer amount, and I go into detail, and anyone who ever needs help, I just help you guys out for free with it. Once you do that, you have to automate your mailing. When I first started direct mail, you're going to laugh at this. I literally did it all in my house. Why? Because there was no automated mailing houses. Everything was manual. And honestly, I think I spent about $8,000 in printing equipment. I had the little sticker stamp on it. I had the automated printers. And I got to be honest with you, I hated it. It was a nightmare. I ruined an entire room in my home. I thought my wife was like going to leave me because the printer would run all night. And you constantly have to babysit these machines for jams. And when you got something ripping off 40 and 50 cent postage on there and it goes out of whack, you can smoke through thousands of dollars very quickly. Guess what? After all those years of doing it, here's a little secret. It's easier, it's cheaper, and it will save you a ton of time if you use a mail house. Now, I use open letter marketing. I've been in this business a long time. They by far bend over backwards for me like no other company. I've tried them all. I'm telling you, all the other companies, there's nowhere even close to this company. They're up in the northeast part of the United States. I know the owner personally. They really care about their business, and they are actually real estate investors that do printing, and they understand it. And I love their customer service. I love talking to people in the United States. Guys, we're talking all about AI. It's going to be changing, and I'm going to make sure that they always answer the phone with a real person. I'm not a big fan on the robot thing, but I understand where it's going. So automation is key. So you can, once you have your list, once you have your postcard and you get it dialed in, this takes a little bit of learning, you can automate it. Why is that important to you? Because as a single operator, you can now scale your business. You don't stop your driving for dollars. You don't stop your cold calling. You don't stop your SMS. This just adds a wing. It's like putting your business on steroid. Why? Because leads are coming to you. They're inbound leads and they work really well. Now, here's another little secret a lot of people don't understand about direct mail. The first time you do direct mail, you have to learn about your flow. The crazy thing about direct mail is you don't have control when the mail drops. So if I drop, I'm giving you a big number because I do much bigger numbers because I know how this works. If I drop 10,000 mail pieces, I do a thing that's called batching your mailings. And what does that mean? It means if you're brand new to this, you have to understand how the lead flow goes. The most important piece you can understand once you get the mail out is you got to answer your phone. So in the beginning, it's going to be you. Let's just be honest. You want to learn how to answer the phone because remember, if they call you, you have a chance. So instead of overwhelming you, I used to drop 10,000 pieces. I get 400 phone calls all within like a 3-day period. It's overwhelming. So in the beginning, so you can learn how it works, you have the option, and it's built into the automation through open letter marketing. It's called batching your mailing. You can split it up, I think, up to 8 times. So if I took 10,000 pieces, I could split it across, like if I was, now say we're going to do 3,000 pieces and you're brand new to it. I probably split that up over 4 to 6 weeks. Why? Because you got to figure out the flow. And the really cool part is the mail house does it for you, and they send you confirmation every time they drop your mail, so you know it's been dropping, and it's extremely consistent because I don't want you to outspend your lead. When you do this brand new, make sure you batch your mailings, you split them up. Once you get comfortable and you understand the flow, you can narrow that timeline down. And if you do, you have to understand that up front because a lot of you will burn, like you'll drop 5,000 pieces and you get overwhelmed 3 days and then the phone doesn't ring the rest of the time. So I rather you spread it out. And then if you're going on the appointments, you're answering the phones and you're doing dispo, you've got to have some time in there. And by the way, you just can't take direct mail and drop 20 grand on it and expect to double your business. It doesn't work that way. The biggest thing you have to understand in direct mail is it's all about consistency. So remember, you have to do a marketing schedule. Once you have a budget, you create at 12 months. Don't get anxiety. You just got to focus on the first 3 months because it's going to pay for the next 9 months and you have to do it. So not only do you put a date, not only do you put a amount you're going to spend a month, you're going to back it out and figure out how many mail pieces you need to do it. And then next to it, you're going to put a date you have to drop that mail by. And remember, I teach you all about self-accountability. If you're going to keep yourself accountable, you mark off those dates. If you start to get behind, understand you have to turn it up. You cannot do direct mail by feel. It does not work that way. It lags behind. So if you do direct mail and after the first 2 weeks, you're not getting enough phone calls and you go, I quit, don't start it. You have to wait an entire quarter to see the profitability of it. So many of you guys are so used to driving for dollars and cold calling, which I love. Direct mail is much more patience, but I will tell you it's much more scalable because you could drop 10, 15, 20,000 mail pieces if you have the team to deal with it. In my opinion, I'm gonna let a little cat out of the bag. Anything more than 10,000 pieces requires a dedicated employee to answer the phone. It's just too much. I've tried it a million ways because if you can't answer the phone calls, you lose your competitive advantage. But I'll go into that. I go into engraved detailing at mailingmastery.com on the bottom there, and I want you to understand it. So I'm going to do one other thing here. We're talking about well, Rick, how do I make 100 grand? You haven't told me how to make 100 grand yet. Okay, well, I'll show you. Get this thing to work here. So, because so many people just, I make 100 grand. It's more than that. So you start in Q1. Remember, that is 3 months. So when you first start out, guess what? Hopefully you're going to get one deal done and just say you make 15 grand off that deal. Rick, that's not 100 grand. How do I get 100 grand? Hold on, I'm coming to you. You got to understand this. Q2 is now rolling. Now we're going to use money from this 15 grand to fund that. So remember, Q2, if we're spending 1,500 a month, that's 4,500. You're going to push $3,500 in to pay for that one. Now, you're going to be getting contracts that you had under contract. You're going to be finding cash buyers, and most likely you're going to increase that to 35 grand. Now, I'd like to tell you this is a beautiful graph that goes up and down. It's not. Q3, you might make 18 grand, but the key is it's self-funding. And that's what you guys, this is like any other business. Once you can get the business to pay for itself, it's playground time. And then what happens, like Q4, you might make $45,000. And then eventually what happens, you're going to have a big fat deal. The best deals always, in my opinion, come from some sort of direct mail. Someone just says, listen, I want to move on. So by the next year, we're going in 2024, now you're going to get consistent because all this mail is stacking up. All these leads, your follow-up system gets better, and you start to have 50 and 60K months. And then by Q4, you are well on your way to 100K. I never said you could do this overnight. I've had months where I've made $250,000. I've had months where I made zero. It's the truth of the business. And if you understand within 1 year to 18 months, you can easily do the 100K, would you start now? And I'm telling you, once I figured this out and I polished it out, I have never looked back. It's like automatic money, but I have to work for it, and you have to be extremely consistent. So guys, that is like everything I know on direct mail. Let me take this off here. I love direct mail. It works really well. Check out mailingmastery.com. I have nothing to sell you there. Like if you think you're going to hit with a course, I just give it to you. Why? Because I want you all to succeed. Full disclosure, I don't want you to start out with direct mail, especially if you don't have any money for a budget, because you need to learn to talk to people. You need to learn the flow, and it is a process. Now, once you start making some money and stuff, it is incredible what you can do with it. So I'm reading comments here. I'm trying to do everything at once. So lists, guys, you guys make sure you have the right lists, and that's it. But do not take direction from direct mail off the internet. I find a lot of these forums and stuff, people go, is direct mail working for you? You go, oh, it bombed. Then you go, well, I'm never touching direct mail. Remember, only take advice from people that you want to be in their place. Understand that. So if someone tells you direct mail sucks, ask them. Honestly, I just move on. But you gotta have to give me specifics to knock off direct mail. Why? Because I've used direct mail for almost 20 years now. I have never had a year where wasn't highly profitable. So my average return on my direct mail, just for full disclosure, is almost a 5-time return. Yeah, okay, Rick. Yeah, if I invest 5 grand into it, I make 25. I didn't get that overnight. In the beginning, you're looking just to cover your costs, then make it profitable, and then start stacking your deals, because it's momentum that builds. You get all these leads following up, and then you learn how to do follow-ups. It's a complete mind-blowing experience with direct mail. And today, with the automation of clicking your button and working with reputable companies, and guys, here's to tell you, I've tried every little tiny small printer. I've tried the huge giant printers. Find someone you connect with. If it's open letter marketing, then that's great. I do a lot of business with them. They have all my direct mail business, and they understand what I do. And I tell them I'm creating a bunch of mini-me's to do exactly what I do. Everyone's in a different market. Everyone has a different budget. Everyone has different circumstances, and you have to look at the entire thing when you do it. You can't just, so when somebody says one size fits all, they didn't do it. Anybody that didn't try direct mail for at least 3 months, I guarantee you they will fail. End of story. So let's see here. Let me answer some questions and let's get started. So if you have any questions about wholesaling, if you have anything about direct mail, I am wide open today. So it's kind of use it or lose it with me. If you guys are new to this business, make sure you go over to freewholesaling.com. That's the best place to get started. It's going to answer 90% of your questions, and it's scrolling on the bottom there for you. And most of you guys I talk to, I'm going to direct you, go, hey, did you look through the course? You got to put the effort into it. I can't make you do it. Everyone's going to have to go through. So let me see here. I got questions start up here. So someone says, are you sure your postcards won't get mistaken for junk mail? What do you mean, am I sure? Junk mail is junk mail. Junk mail is determined by the individual user. And here's the reality. I've done test after test. I've sat through studies. I'm a geek about this stuff. They test people on how they handle their mail. The more flashy your solicitation, the shiny, glossy, the oversized. I've tried all that crap. It doesn't work. You know what works? White paper, black ink with something that creates curiosity. So let me ask you this. Put in the comments, what do you think is the number one thing people key on their house? You all talk to motivated sellers. What is the one thing they obsess obsess about in their house online? Put it in the comments, and I'm going to show you why this works. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. You can put it in the comments, and I'll show you why. Junk mail is a mindset, a mentality. Why? Let me ask you, why do you think Domino's, Bed Bath & Beyond, by the way, Bed Bath & Beyond is close to bankruptcy, so it's not a good example, but why do you think these people put this crap in the mail? Do you think they enjoy spending the money? What? They get a return on their money. It works. It induces people to take action to go to a brick and mortar store. You're not a brick and mortar store. So Winston's kind of got it right. Let me cut to the chase here. It's money. And more specifically, it's the Zillow Zestimate. They obsess about it. You guys obsess about it in your house. Here's the best one, right? Value. The Homer's correct. So value is in today's world is called the Zestimate. So my idea is, why don't we just attack them on their Zestimate? And that's all we do on my direct mail with ROS. And it works well. You know why? Because people either call me to chew me out about it or ask me for more. I don't care which way they go as long as they call me. I don't put a lot of information on the card on purpose. The more crap you put on a letter or a postcard, the less intrigued people are to call you. There is no intrinsic value. So if I put the value of your house on a postcard and go, listen, here's your offer, give me a call. I have a deposit waiting for you. A lot of times you'll call and go, hey, Rick, that's not the value of my house. You got it wrong. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Well, do you think I'm in realtor mode? No, because if I got the right list off my government list, driving for dollars, whatever I got, I know their house has challenges. So the odds of them having a challenge with that house and them questioning the value of it, the rest is up to me. All I need to do is figure out how to qualify them, how to build rapport, and how to turn my script into a conversation. And that's how I get deals, guys. So many people send me postcards. There's like 300-400 words on it. Do you know most people will read the first 2 sentences and they're done with their mail? So the question is, back on the question was, do you think it's going to look like junk mail? Some people think it does. Who cares? I only need a few individuals to get it. It is a numbers game. Only a small percentage need to call and reach out to me. Those are the tired and most frustrated people that need help. That's all I care. A majority of the direct mail you send out is going to be thrown in the garbage. If you can't deal with that, don't do it. But if you think about Domino's, Little Caesars, Bed Bath & Beyond, what are the other coupons out there? Home Depot does a ton of them. The reason they do it is because it works. Do you think these companies would send it out if they didn't get a return on their investment? And they're getting fractional returns, like tiny percentages. I'm giving you 4 and 5 times returns on this stuff. So I love it. It works. You have to create intrigue. Yes, it is kind of junk mail, but it doesn't quite look like your typical junk mail because when you have their name, a property address on there, and an offer, it intrigues the crap out of people. And they go, oh my God, I got to talk to them. And there's so many people have copied this. The problem is they missed the gist of how it works. If you don't understand the logic and how you're going to make that offer, you will never get it. If you offer too much, you get nothing but retail people. If you have the wrong list, it doesn't work. And if you offer too little, nobody calls you back. So go to mailingmastery.com. I figured the whole thing out for you. I'm telling you it worked. I don't share in your profits. Maybe you share in a deal with me. Honestly, I spent my entire 20 years trying to figure out direct mail. I have got it so dialed in right now. I can penetrate any market and make it work. Some are more challenging. And by the way, I've used this all over the country and it works. Here's the key is I don't give a crap what offer I put on it as long as they call me and I know they're on one of my specialized lists.